Germany welcomed a new era as Friedrich Mars assumed the mantle of Chancellor. The nation stood at the precipice of change, with hopes and dreams intertwined with the promises of a brighter future. Mars, a figure both charismatic and controversial, had captured the imagination of millions. The air crackled with anticipation. People from all walks of life gathered, their faces lit with hope and curiosity. They were eager to hear what their new leader had to say, to understand the vision that would guide them forward. All eyes were on Berlin. The city, a symbol of resilience and rebirth, was once again at the center of global attention. The world watched, waiting to see how this new chapter in Germany's history would unfold. Mars, in his inaugural address, did not disappoint. His words were carefully chosen, his tone measured yet powerful. He spoke with the conviction of a man who believed deeply in his mission. He spoke of unity, of strength, of a Germany ready to lead on the world stage. His vision was one of a nation that would not only rise to meet its challenges but also inspire others to do the same. But amidst the soaring rhetoric, there was a note of caution, a warning, a call to action. Mars reminded his audience that the road ahead would not be easy, that the challenges they faced were formidable. The world, Mars declared, was at a crossroads. The choices made today would shape the future for generations to come. It was a moment of profound significance, a turning point in history. And the path forward was fraught with danger. Mars spoke of the perils that lay ahead, the obstacles that could derail their progress. But he also spoke of the strength and resilience of the German people, their ability to overcome adversity. Mars spoke of the challenges facing Germany: economic uncertainty, climate change, the rise of nationalism. These were not just abstract concepts but real issues that affected the lives of everyday people. But he reserved his harshest words for those who, he claimed, sought to undermine democracy itself. He warned of the dangers posed by those who would use fear and division to achieve their ends. He called out by name former U.S. President Donald Trump, tech mogul Elon Musk, and author J.D. Vance. These individuals, Mars asserted, had meddled in German elections, seeking to influence the outcome for their own gain. Their crime? Meddling in German elections. Their actions, Mars claimed, were a direct threat to the democratic process, an affront to the sovereignty of the German people. Their weapon of choice? The politics of fear and division. Mars urged his fellow citizens to reject these tactics, to stand united in the face of adversity, and to build a future based on hope, not fear. The specter of foreign interference loomed large over Mars's speech. He stood at the podium, his voice echoing through the hall as he painted a grim picture of the current political landscape. The audience listened intently, aware of the gravity of his words. He accused Trump, Musk, and Vance of actively supporting the far-right AfD party in the recent German elections. This was not a mere allegation but a well-documented series of events that had unfolded over the past months. The trio's involvement had raised eyebrows and sparked debates across the globe. This, he argued, was not just an attack on Germany, but an assault on the very principles of democracy. The protesters in the streets, holding signs and chanting slogans, were a testament to the widespread concern. They were fighting for the integrity of democratic institutions, not just in Germany, but worldwide. Mars drew parallels to the tactics employed by Russia under Vladimir Putin. He highlighted how disinformation and propaganda had been used as tools to destabilize nations. The images of Russian rallies and propaganda served as a stark reminder of the power of misinformation. The goal, he asserted, was the same: to sow discord, to undermine trust in institutions, to weaken the West from within. The diverse group of protesters, united in their cause, symbolized the resistance against such tactics. They were the frontline defenders of democracy. Mars pointed to a pattern of behavior from these individuals. Their actions were not isolated incidents but part of a broader strategy. The serious expressions on their faces during public appearances hinted at the calculated nature of their moves. Trump, with his history of making unsubstantiated claims of election fraud, had openly endorsed the AfD. His rallies, filled with fervent supporters, often echoed with chants that questioned the legitimacy of elections. This rhetoric had a ripple effect, influencing not just American politics but also international dynamics. Musk, with his vast social media reach, had amplified far-right voices and spread disinformation. His tweets, often cryptic and controversial, reached millions within seconds, shaping public opinion and fueling divisive narratives. The power of social media in modern politics was undeniable. Vance, with his divisive rhetoric, had provided intellectual cover for extremist ideologies. His speeches, filled with charged language, resonated with a segment of the population that felt marginalized. This intellectual backing gave a veneer of legitimacy to otherwise fringe beliefs. Their actions, Mars declared, had consequences. The intensity in his voice was palpable as he warned of the dangers ahead. The crowd's reaction, a mix of concern and determination, underscored the urgency of the moment. The fight for democracy, Mars concluded, was far from over. Mars's speech was not just a condemnation of external threats, it was a rallying cry for European unity and independence. He argued that Europe could no longer rely on others to guarantee its security or defend its interests. The transatlantic relationship, once a cornerstone of the post-war order, was now in question. He pointed to the actions of Trump and his allies as evidence that America's commitment to NATO was wavering. Europe, he declared, must be prepared to stand on its own 2 feet. This meant investing in its own defense capabilities, strengthening its economic ties, and speaking with a united voice on the world stage. The time for complacency, Mars warned, is over. In a moment of unintended humor, Mars addressed Trump's bizarre claim that the CDU-CSU victory was a win for him. Trump, it seemed, had completely misunderstood the German political landscape. The CDU-CSU, while conservative, is far closer ideologically to the U.S. Democratic Party than to Trump's Republican Party. Mars chuckled, suggesting that perhaps someone should send Trump a copy of Politics for Dummies. The audience erupted in laughter, but beneath the humor lay a sobering truth. Trump's ignorance of global affairs was not just a laughing matter, it had real-world consequences. Mars's speech reverberated across the globe. World leaders lined up to condemn Trump's actions and express their support for Germany. French President Emmanuel Macron, in a show of solidarity, defended the legitimacy of Ukrainian President Zelensky against Trump's baseless accusations. He labeled Trump's claims as nothing more than Russian propaganda, designed to sow discord and weaken Western resolve. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer echoed Macron's sentiments, reiterating the importance of Ukraine's involvement in any peace talks. He stressed the need for a united front against Russian aggression, and called for continued support for Ukraine. From Paris to London to Tokyo, the message was clear. The world was watching, and Trump's attempts to undermine democracy would not be tolerated. Section 6. Across the Pond, a house divided. While Mars's speech was met with applause in Europe, the reaction in the United States was more divided. In Europe, leaders and citizens alike saw Mars's words as a reaffirmation of shared values and a commitment to democracy. The speech resonated deeply, striking a chord with those who had grown increasingly wary of authoritarian tendencies worldwide. The Republican Party, still largely in thrall to Trump, remained silent. The party's leadership, wary of alienating Trump's base, chose to avoid making any public statements that could be seen as critical of the former president. This silence was telling, reflecting the deep divisions within the party itself. Some even went so far as to defend Trump's actions, echoing his claims of a rigged election in Germany. These supporters, steadfast in their loyalty, believed that any criticism of Trump was an attack on their own values and identity. They rallied around the former president, amplifying his unfounded claims and further polarizing the political landscape. Fox News, Trump's favorite media outlet, downplayed the significance of Mars's speech, dismissing it as anti-Trump hysteria. The network's coverage framed the speech as an overreaction, suggesting that Mars was out of touch with the realities of American politics. This narrative was quickly picked up by other conservative media outlets, creating an echo chamber that reinforced the divide. However, there were voices of dissent within the Republican ranks. A small but growing number of GOP lawmakers began to question the party's unwavering support for Trump. These dissenters argued that the party needed to distance itself from the former president's divisive rhetoric and focus on rebuilding trust with international allies. Some GOP lawmakers, recognizing the danger posed by Trump's rhetoric, spoke out against his interference in foreign elections. They warned that such actions could undermine the credibility of the United States on the global stage and damage long-standing alliances. These lawmakers called for a return to a more principled and consistent foreign policy. They acknowledged the importance of the transatlantic alliance and stressed the need for America to stand with its allies. By reaffirming their commitment to these partnerships, they hoped to restore faith in America's role as a global leader. The future of the alliance, they argued, depended on mutual respect and a shared commitment to democratic values. Section 7. Echoes of Extortion. Whispers of Disinformation. Adding fuel to the fire, reports surfaced of potential wrongdoing by the Trump administration. Congressman Jim Himes likened their dealings with Ukraine to an episode of The Sopranos, citing allegations of extortion. Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, was accused of trying to leverage U.S. aid to Ukraine in exchange for rare earth minerals. Meanwhile, accusations of disinformation swirled around Trump and his allies. Anders Aslund, a renowned economist, claimed that Trump and Musk had become major sources of disinformation, surpassing even Putin in their ability to spread falsehoods. The line between reality and fiction, it seemed, was becoming increasingly blurred. Section 8. A Kremlin Chorus. While the West grappled with the fallout from Mars's speech, the reaction from Russia was predictably gleeful. Russian state media praised Trump, Musk, and Vance for their courage in standing up to the Western establishment. They lauded Trump's vision of a multipolar world and echoed his criticisms of NATO. Putin, in a rare public appearance, smiled slyly when asked about Mars's accusations. He dismissed them as Western propaganda and accused the West of trying to sow discord between Russia and its partners. The irony, of course, was lost on no one. Section 9. The World is Watching. Frederick Mars's speech marked a watershed moment in international relations. It laid bare the fragility of the transatlantic alliance and exposed the deep divisions within American society. The world watched with bated breath, uncertain of what the future held. One thing was clear: the forces of nationalism, populism, and authoritarianism were on the rise. The battle for the soul of democracy was far from over. It was a battle that would be fought not just on the battlefield, but in the halls of government, in the media, and in the hearts and minds of people around the world.
So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and let's turn the page on a new adventure together. Get ready to experience books like never before, only on VBook 360. Like, comment, and share to support the channel and keep the video magic alive. Thank you for stopping by. And remember, every video has a story, and every story deserves to be shared. See you in the next video.